What's going on, people? It's Ricardo Francis, aka Ricardo Lifting here. Today we're gonna learn. I just got to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not an advocate of smoking. I just happen to like the vest, and the vest just happens to say 100% organic. Anyway, before we continue, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button. Anyway, back to the video. To squat. The squat is the foundation of all leg exercises. To be honest, it's the foundation to exercise in general. Just like how I referred to in my lunge video, I believe everyone needs to learn how to squat. If you can't do a body weight squat to at least parallel, I don't think you should be exercising. And that's the reality. And the reason being is because it's not necessarily the exercise itself, but the movement needed, the flexibility, the mobility, and stabilization needed to do a squat is pretty much needed for every other exercise. And that's why I say, if you are exercising, think back to, can you do a body weight squat with good technique and form to at least parallel? Now, I'm a big advocate on deep squats. You know, the more range of motion you have, the better you are off, because then it means you are more mobile. You've got better stabilization through all ranges of motion, and that promotes better muscle growth, stabilization, mobility, the works. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do a body weight squat. Then there will be other episodes where I teach you how to fix a problem. So if you struggle with certain aspects of the squat, it will teach you how to fix those issues and improve on it. So if you can do pretty much every variation of the squat with good form, good technique, you'll probably be injury free. So if you've ever been injured and you exercise, can you do every variation of a squat? If you can't do every variation of a squat, what is it that's restricting you? Because that's probably what's leading to your injuries. For instance, you need a stable foot, you need mobile ankles, you need stable knees, you need mobile hips, you need a stable lumbar spine, you need a mobile thoracic spine. You know, so pretty much throughout your body, you need some form of flexibility, mobility, and stabilization. And you're probably suffering from a lack of one of these if you injure yourself, and therefore it's kind of crucial to go through every squat variation. Today we're just going to go through the body weight squat, and we're just going to break down the movement step by step to make sure you're doing it properly, and it's a great one to practice. Without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, we've got to start with our feet. So it's making sure we've got stable feet, so you create that tripod foot. So you want the ball of your foot, the outside of your foot just before your pinky toe, and the heel of your foot to stay stable on the ground the whole time. So make sure it's fixed in the ground. The next thing you want to do is engage your quads and your hamstrings as well as your glutes by squeezing your glutes, which is going to activate the quads, drive your knees out. Gripping your feet, making sure you're creating an arch in your feet to allow you to go through the squat motion. So engage the glutes, driving the knees out. The next step is to hip hinge. So you're going to push that bum back, keeping your back nice and straight, core tight, so your back is nice and flat before you start to descend. So you don't just start to descend with your knees, you start with the hip hinge. And your legs will bend as you hinge and trying to maintain a neutral spine. Then you're going to get as low as you can. So what I like to do is keep my arms out in front of me to keep my back nice and straight and keep my shoulders pinned back. What you might find is that you start rounding, so really keep that tight and keep your chest proud without overarching your back. And as you come up, you want to squeeze your glutes to make sure they're engaged, making sure that your quads and your hamstrings are always engaged throughout the movement, as well as your glutes. You want to go as low as you can. It's not about always going to the floor. If you can't do that, find the things that are restricting you. You know, I said I go through the different parts of the body when it comes to your squat, so we can really hone in and focus on improving your squat to get better depth. I'm not perfect, I'm flat-footed, so I find it a lot harder to do it barefoot than I do with an elevated heel, and that's because of my lack of ankle mobility. But if your squat could be faltering anywhere, whether it be from your hips, whether it be from your ankles, whether it be from your core, whether it be from your shoulders. So we'll underpin that later on. So things to remember when you're performing a squat is tripod foot. Engage your glutes by squeezing your glutes, driving your knees out. Start with the hip hinge and then start to descend. Get as low as you can, making sure your foot's nice and stable, so it shouldn't turn, it should just stay where you are. Now the stance is going to depend person to person, so most times shoulder width, your natural standing width is ideal. Feet nice and straight is ideal. Your feet can turn out slightly. Just find a position where it's comfortable, where you can keep your feet stable and not move them. Keep them nice and stable, maintaining that tripod foot. And maintain an arch within your feet. Again, it's important to engage those glutes, to drive those knees out so they stay in line with the toes. That way you're keeping your knees nice and safe. So there we have it, guys. That's this breakdown of the squat. I said there's a lot to take in. It's just making sure you have stable feet, you engage your glutes, drive your knees out in line with your toes, keeping that tripod foot, descending from the hips and coming on the way down, keeping a nice neutral spine. As I said, later on down the line, we're going to start to look at restrictions, you know, possible problems that may arise when you try to perform a squat, and how to cope and improve on them. Because if you're able to do a bodyweight squat with really good form and technique, you're probably going to be less likely to injure yourself. So I said form, technique is key and is crucial. A lot of people can drill in form and technique and do it this way, do it that way. But if you've got restrictions, they don't tell you how to fix it. They don't tell you how to fix the problem you may have, which is hindering your form and technique. You know, I can tell you to do something as many times as possible, but if you physically can't do it, then it doesn't help me just telling you to do it. It's about locating where the problem is and trying to fix it, to make sure that you increase your range of motion, you increase your flexibility and mobility, so you're able to perform the exercise safely and effectively. If you like this kind of content, make sure you hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this with all of your friends. Anyway, that's me. I'm out. Peace.